Hey, I'm Nate. I'm 25 and I live with my mom in a modest little house just outside of town. Nothing fancy. I crash in the small room at the back, the one that used to be the guest room. Yeah, not exactly what you'd call making it, but I'm not ashamed of it either. I never went to college. School was never really my thing. I work where I can, construction sites mostly, some roofing jobs, moving stuff for people, whatever pays cash. No contracts, no benefits, just enough to keep me going. Some people think I'm wasting my life. Maybe I am, but for now I like it simple. No schedules, no one breathing down my neck. I live day by day, and for the most part I'm okay with that. My mom, not so much. She's been on my case a lot lately, always saying, I need to figure out my future, settle down, find a wife, have kids. She wants grandkids more than anything, says, I need to grow up and stop pretending life's a vacation. We argue sometimes, but I try not to push back. I know she means well. Still, it's exhausting hearing the same speech every other day. Anyway, about a year ago, my mom made a new friend. Her name's Elise. She's not one of those lifelong besties from back in the day. They met at some community event and hit it off. Since then, Elise has been coming over for coffee a few times a week. She's younger than my mom, maybe 10 years or so. So if my mom's 50, Elise is probably 35. Looks good for her age, honestly. Really good. At first, I didn't pay much attention to her. I mean, sure, she's attractive, classy, confident, always dressed just right, but she was still just my mom's friend. And every time she was over, I'd hear them talking in the kitchen. My mom venting about me, about how I have no plan. I don't care about my future. And Elise, she always agreed. He's a good kid, but he needs direction. He can't live like this forever. Blah, blah, blah. I'd roll my eyes and put my headphones on. But tonight was different. I was lying on my bed, scrolling through my phone, just killing time. My shift at the warehouse ended early, and I didn't have anything planned. It was quiet. Mom was asleep. Lights were off. Just me and the buzz of the ceiling fan. Then my phone buzzed. Notification from someone I hadn't messaged before. Elise. My first thought was, why is she texting me? Maybe something about my mom. Maybe something serious. I opened it. It was a photo. At first glance, it wasn't anything explicit. She was standing in front of a mirror, hair slightly undone, wearing a soft robe. But the way the robe clung to her curves, the way she looked at the camera, not smiling, not goofy, it was intentional, personal. It had energy, the kind of energy that makes your chest tighten for a second. And the caption, just 4 words, this stays between us. I froze. I didn't know what to think. Was this some kind of mistake? Maybe she meant to send it to someone else? Or was this real? I stared at it for a long minute, then locked on my phone, opened it again. Still there, still Elise, still that photo, still that line. I didn't know what to do, but I wasn't angry. I wasn't uncomfortable. If I'm being honest, I was intrigued. Elise wasn't some random stranger. I knew her. She'd been in our kitchen sitting across from me. She laughed at my jokes. She complimented my tattoos. And yeah, I caught her looking at me a few times when she thought I wasn't paying attention. So I replied just one line. Did you mean to send this to me? She responded almost instantly. Yes, and I'm not sorry. I leaned back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. My heart was thumping, but not from fear, from adrenaline. This was something. I didn't know what exactly, but I wanted to find out. I replied again, well, I won't tell if you don't. 3 dots appeared typing, then another photo, then another. Each one a little bolder than the last. Still tasteful, but yeah, they were for me. No question now, I didn't sleep much that night. Not because I was overthinking. I wasn't the overthinking type, but because I felt like the rules had just changed. Something shifted. A line had been crossed, and I wasn't sure what the morning would bring. But I knew one thing for sure. Elise wasn't just my mom's friend anymore. The next morning was awkward. Not because anything had happened, Not really, but because of what could happen now. I woke up feeling like I'd stepped through some invisible doorway, and nothing around me had changed. But everything had. I tried to act normal, threw on an old t-shirt, made some toast, drank coffee straight from the mug, like I always do. Mom was already up scrolling through her phone at the table and complaining about the neighbor's dog barking again. She didn't mention Elise. Didn't say she was coming by. I didn't ask, but sometime around 11, the doorbell rang, and there she was. Elise stepped in like nothing was different, like she hadn't sent me those pictures the night before. She wore tight jeans, a loose cream-colored sweater, and minimal makeup, just enough to look effortless. She kissed my mom on the cheek, handed her a box of pastries, and made her way into the kitchen like she'd lived there her whole life. I was sitting on the couch pretending to scroll through job listings on my phone when she glanced over at me. Our eyes locked. There was that look, not the usual polite smile or friendly nod. Her eyes lingered sharp and soft at the same time. She tilted her head slightly and one corner of her mouth lifted just a bit. It lasted only 2 seconds, but it said everything. I nodded once, subtle enough for her to know I saw it. They talked in the kitchen for about half an hour. I could hear the usual. My mom going off about how I waste my 20s and how I just drift through life with no plan. Elise did what she always did, nodded in the right places, added a few hmms, even threw in a he's a good kid though, like she always did. Same script, but now it felt like a performance, like we were both in on something my mom had no clue about. And then something happened. Mom's phone rang. She looked at the screen and groaned. "It's the pharmacy," she said, standing up. "They messed up my prescription again." She grabbed her keys. "I'll be 5 minutes tops. Don't let the coffee burn." She was out the door before I could even respond. Now it was just me and Elise. The kitchen was silent. I stood up and walked in slowly. She was leaning against the counter, arms crossed, sipping her coffee like this was just another Saturday. "So," I said, breaking the silence, "what was that about last night?" She looked at me calmly, no guilt in her eyes. "What do you think it was about?" "I don't know," I shrugged. "You tell me, was it a mistake?" "No, just like that, no hesitation, no shame." "You're my mom's friend," I said. "You come here all the time. You listen to her go on about how I'm wasting my life." Elise looked down for a moment, then back at me. "And you think I believe all that?" I didn't say anything, just looked at her. She stepped closer. "I tell her what she wants to hear, Nate. That's what friends do sometimes, especially when they don't want to argue. But I've seen you. I've really seen you. You're not lazy. You're just free, and that scares people." I blinked, honestly unsure what to say. "You sent me photos," I finally said. "Yes, and I don't regret it." "Why me?" She smiled. This kind of sad, vulnerable smile that made her look younger. "Because you look at me like I'm a person, not just someone who missed her chance at a perfect life. You make me feel seen, alive." I couldn't lie. That hit something in me. There was a long pause. Neither of us moved. Then I asked, "So what now?" She looked around like she was making sure the coast was still clear. Then she leaned in just enough so her voice dropped to a whisper. "Meet me tonight. 900. Walk with me." "Where does it matter?" I shook my head. Before my mom came back, Elise was already in her car, backing out of the driveway with a wave and a smile like nothing had happened. My mom walked back in a few minutes later, still cursing the pharmacy under her breath, completely unaware. But I couldn't stop thinking about Elise. All day my brain was firing in 100 directions. I kept checking the clock, counting the hours. Part of me still didn't believe this was real, that someone like her, older, confident, beautiful, could actually want to spend time with someone like me. But she did. Hari couldn't come fast enough. At 8:56, I stood in front of the mirror in our hallway pretending not to care about how I looked. I changed shirts 3 times already, ended up settling on a plain black one that didn't look like I tried too hard, but still fit just right. I threw on a jacket, ran my hand through my hair once, then headed out the door without telling my mom where I was going. She was watching some cooking show in the living room and barely looked up. It was one of those early spring nights, not cold, but cool enough to make your breath visible if you stood still long enough. The air smelled like fresh pavement and distant firewood. I walked to the corner of our street and waited. Elise pulled up right on time. Her car, a black SUV, rolled to a stop and the passenger window slid down. She leaned slightly toward me from the driver's seat and smiled. "Get in." No makeup this time, just her. Hair tied back, a soft gray hoodie, black leggings, sneakers. Casual, natural, real. We didn't say much for the first few minutes. She drove without music. The soft hum of the tires. The only sound. We ended up in a quiet neighborhood across town, nicer than ours, lined with old trees and empty sidewalks. She parked near a small park, turned off the engine, and looked at me. "Walk with me." I nodded. We started walking without direction, side by side, not touching, just moving. It felt calm, easy. I think we both needed that. "So," I said eventually, "do you do this kind of thing often?" She smiled. "What, pick up guys half my age and sneak them out for night walks?" "Yeah, that." "No," she said. "This is new for me. Very new." We kept walking. Our steps fell in sync. "I didn't plan this," she continued. "I didn't sit around thinking about texting you like that. It just happened. I saw you the way you are with people, with your mom, even when she's hard on you. And I thought he gets it. He's not playing a role like most guys I know. He's just himself." "Being myself doesn't exactly pay the bills," I muttered. "Maybe not, but it's rare and honest." I looked over at her. "You're not what I expected either." "How so?" "I don't know. I guess I thought you were just another friend my mom talks to. Baking tips, neighborhood gossip, complaints about me. But now I see someone who's searching for something just like me." She stopped walking for a second, turned to face me. Her voice was softer now. "You're right." I didn't say anything. She continued. "I spent most of my 20s chasing the right guy, the right job, the right plan. Now I'm 35, alone, no kids, no real love in my life, just routines, coffee visits, empty conversations. But when I'm around you, I feel something different." We kept walking. The park lights cast a soft orange glow across the path. The breeze picked up a little, but I didn't feel cold. "I don't have answers," I said after a while. "I'm not looking for anyone to fix me. I don't even know what I want half the time." "I'm not here to fix you, Nate," she said. "I just want to know you, the real you. No pressure, no roles." That's when I realized we were two people from different points in life, different expectations, different stories. But somehow we both ended up walking the same path that night, looking for something honest, something real. We sat down on a bench under a street lamp. It was quiet, peaceful. "I feel like I've known you longer than I actually have," I said. She turned toward me. "That's because you see me not the version I pretend to be." There was a pause, a stillness between us. Then she asked, "Do you want to keep talking somewhere a bit more private?" And I didn't have to think about it. We stood up, walked back to her car. The ride to the hotel was quiet, but the silence wasn't uncomfortable. It was full of unspoken things. Possibility, respect, maybe even hope. She parked behind a quiet building with a neon vacancy sign. She turned off the engine but didn't move. "I'm not here for a fling, Nate," she said, not looking at me. "I want something that matters, even if it's complicated, even if it doesn't make sense." "I'm not here to use you," I replied. This means something to me too." She reached for my hand and together we walked inside. What happened that night is between us. I won't tell, and neither will she. Not because we're ashamed, but because not everything needs to be shared. Some moments deserve to be just that, moments. But I will say this, that night changed everything. The morning after was quiet, the kind of quiet that feels full, like everything around you is holding its breath. Elise was still asleep when I woke up. Sunlight slipped through the thin hotel curtains and hit her shoulder warm and soft. She looked peaceful. No makeup, no filters, no performance, just her. I got dressed quietly, sat on the edge of the bed for a while, and just existed. I wasn't overthinking. That's not who I am, but I felt different, like something inside me had settled or maybe just shifted. She opened her eyes slowly and smiled. No awkwardness, no regret. Hey, she said, her voice still sleepy. Hey, I replied. She sat up, pulled the blanket around herself, and leaned back on the pillows. How do you feel? I thought for a second. Like something real just started. She nodded. That's exactly how I feel. We didn't say much after that. We just got dressed, grabbed coffee from a gas station on the way back, and drove in comfortable silence. No big speeches, no what are we now talk. It was just understood. Something between us had begun. And it wasn't just physical. It felt like a door had opened neither of us expected to find. Back home, things went back to normal, at least on the surface. She came over for coffee 2 days later like nothing had happened. My mom had no clue. Elise and I exchanged only 2 glances during that visit, but they carried more meaning than entire conversations. The second she left, I got a text. Still thinking about that night. I replied, me too, every minute. And that became our rhythm. Secret texts, late-night phone calls, moments stolen between coffee visits and errands. We weren't hiding because we were ashamed. We were hiding because we had to. My mom trusted Elise. She liked her. She thought Elise was her friend. If she knew the truth, it would crush her. But what we had wasn't something we could deny. It wasn't just about attraction. It was about connection. Real connection. I started seeing Elise differently, not just as my mom's friend, not even just as a beautiful woman, but as someone with depth, with flaws, with fears and hopes that match mine. I started noticing how she always checked her phone twice before speaking, like she was afraid of saying the wrong thing. I noticed how she stayed quiet when my mom complained about me, but her eyes told a different story. One night we sat in her car outside a grocery store parking lot. She didn't even turn off the engine. I'm not good at this, she said quietly. At what? This sneaking around, lying by omission, pretending. I know, I said. I hate it too. She looked at me, her eyes tired. I care about you, Nate, more than I thought I would, and I'm tired of hiding it. I nodded. Then let's stop hiding. She hesitated. You want to tell her? I do, I said. We're not doing anything wrong, not really. We're 2 adults who met in a strange way. That doesn't make us bad people. She looked down at her hands. She'll hate me. Maybe at first, but the truth has weight. Eventually it stops floating. Eventually it lands. We sat in silence for a long time. Then she said it. The thing I think we were both waiting for, the thing we both needed to hear. I love you. I didn't need to think about my response. I love you too. That night I didn't sleep. Not because of fear, but because I was playing every scenario in my head. How to say it, when to say it, how my mom would react. But we both agreed it had to be soon. So we picked a day, Saturday. She'd come over for coffee, like always. But this time we could sit down and tell the truth. Not for drama, not for shock, for us. Because hiding something real starts to feel like lying to the world and to yourself. That Saturday morning, Elise showed up like usual. She wore a pale blue blouse, jeans, and brought croissants. My mom laughed, complimented her shoes. Poured coffee. I felt my hands shaking slightly as we all sat down, and then Elise looked at me, and I knew it was time. Mom, I said we need to talk. Saturday morning looked like any other. Sunlight came in through the kitchen blinds in narrow lines. The smell of coffee hung in the air, and my mom was humming while setting the table like she always did when company came over. Elise showed up at exactly 10:03, wearing a light blue blouse, simple earrings, and jeans. She carried a paper bag with fresh croissants, and her smile was calm but tight, the kind of smile that hides nerves. I was sitting at the table, already coffee in front of me, untouched. Morning, my mom said cheerfully, taking the bag from Elise. I hope you brought those chocolate ones again. Of course, Elise said. Your favorite. They laughed. Small talk followed, the usual things. Neighbor gossip, weekend weather, how the supermarket was running out of eggs again. I didn't say much. Elise didn't either. Our eyes met twice. Once while my mom was turned to the counter, and again when she sat down across from us. It was time. I cleared my throat. My hands were clenched under the table. Elise reached out gently and rested hers on mine just for a second, then pulled it back. My mom didn't notice or pretended not to. Mom, I started, my voice low but steady. We need to tell you something. She looked up from her coffee. Okay. I looked at Elise and then back at my mom. We've been seeing each other, me and Elise. The room went dead silent. At first, my mom didn't react. She just blinked a few times like her brain needed a second to process what she just heard. Then her expression changed slowly. Her lips parted slightly, her brows pulled together. Confusion, then disbelief, then anger. What are you talking about? She asked, not looking at me, looking at Elise. We've been together, Elise said gently, for a few weeks now. It wasn't planned, but it's real. You've what? My mom said, voice rising. You're dating my son. I care about him, Elise said. Truly, I didn't mean to hurt you. My mom stood up so suddenly her chair screeched against the floor. I let you into my house. I trusted you. You sat here and nodded while I told you everything. And all this time you're sleeping with my son. It didn't start that way, I said quickly. It just happened. But it's not a fling, Mom. It's real. She turned on me now, her voice sharp. She's 10 years older than you. She's my friend Nate. Don't you see how wrong this is? No, I don't, I said calmly. She's not your childhood friend. You've known her a year. You barely know her. And I do. I know her better than I've known anyone. My mom shook her head. This is ridiculous. She's taking advantage of you. She's not, I said. I'm not some stupid kid. I know what I'm doing. Elise stood up now, too. Maybe I should go. No, I said. We're not hiding anymore. You said you wanted me to grow up to take life seriously. Well, this is me doing that. You call this serious, my mom snapped. Running around with a woman who plays your second mother. I didn't respond. Elise didn't either. My mom pointed at the door. Both of you get out now. I can't even look at you right now. Elise hesitated, but I stood up. We'll go, but I need you to understand something. She stared at me, eyes cold. I didn't plan this, but I love her, and she loves me. That's not disgusting. That's not betrayal. That's just life being unpredictable. You think I care, she snapped. You think I'm gonna sit here and bless this madness? You're my son. I raised you better than this. I looked at her, really looked, and for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like a kid being lectured. I felt like a man making a choice. We're leaving, I said quietly, and we did. We got in Elise's car and drove in silence. Not sad silence, just heavy, full of everything that had just happened. That night, I moved into her apartment. A week later, I brought over the rest of my things. My mom didn't call. I didn't expect her to. 4 months have passed. We still live together, still laugh over morning coffee, still text each other during the day, even if we're in the same room. It's not perfect. Nothing ever is, but it's real. My mom hasn't come around. I've sent her a message. She saw it, didn't reply. I hope one day she'll understand. But if she doesn't, I'm okay with that too. This is my life, my choice. And for the first time, it feels like it's mine. Nate and Elise's story teaches us that true courage lies in choosing love and authenticity, even when it means facing painful consequences. At 25, Nate was drifting, judged by his mom for lacking direction, yet he found an unexpected connection with Elise, a woman a decade older who saw his genuine spirit. Their bond, sparked by a daring photo and secretive texts, grew into a profound love that defied norms. When they chose to reveal their relationship, they faced his mother's anger and betrayal, yet they stood firm, moving forward together. This story reminds us that love doesn't always fit society's molds, age expectations, or approval, and that's okay. The real bravery is in owning your truth, even if it hurts those you care about. Nate's decision to leave his mom's house and build a life with Elise wasn't just about romance. It was about claiming his right to a life that felt truly his. In a world quick to judge, their story urges us to listen to our hearts and choose connections that make us feel seen, even if the path is messy. Let's honor our own truths and the people who see us for who we are. What did Nate and Elise's story teach you about love or courage? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them. If this story moved you, please subscribe and join our community for more heartfelt stories that inspire. Let's keep exploring life's lessons together.